Well, that was quite the journey through all that snow. We're supposed to be getting 20 centimetres today, and by the looks of it, we've already had half of that. But that's what we want. It's a winter wonderland. Those trees just look fantastic. There's the cabin. I'm going to unload all the gear and do some scouting and figure out what we need to shoot. Apparently this tap isn't going to be much use to me because the water around here isn't drinkable unless you boil it. But luckily they've thought about this and they've installed this tap, which I will definitely be finding useful. And there's complimentary snacks as well. How about that? This is going to be the perfect place to set up office for the few days that I'm here. I just need somewhere to sleep. Let's go take a look upstairs. This is such a cool place. I just love it. But right now it's snowing really hard and I've got to go and do some work. It was midweek during a snowstorm, so that meant not many people in the brewery this evening, so I could bring out a light and set up a tripod. The beer spa doesn't have any winter shots showing all of this, and it's just so beautiful. The temperature's dropped, it's -19 right now, which actually is perfect for photography. The snow was actually too wet yesterday and everything was just getting, all the gear was getting wet, but today, no worries about that. Well, the sun didn't do anything dramatic, but even if it did, it's pretty challenging to get some sort of shot that represents the lakes in wintertime because it's just a vast amount of white with a tree line. I mean, there's nothing here. So the thing to do is find something in the foreground that helps tell the story, like docks or these Muskoka chairs or some kayaks. The only thing we've got going for us this morning is all of this snow on the trees. There's zero wind, so every little branch has got snow on it. It's quite beautiful. So I'm going to get some detail shots and then I'm rushing up the road to meet Nora for breakfast. We're going to somewhere that's loved by the locals and tourists alike. It's been around for ages. It's a must-go place when you're visiting this area. So I'm excited about that. So this is a summer destination, but we're here in the middle of winter, -19 outside, very cold. I don't see a lot of people. So the whole point of me being here really is to communicate that this is a fantastic place to be in the winter too. There's so much to do. What do you want to communicate with these images? Where are they going to be used, and what is it you actually want to get across to your audiences online?
Well, the thing about Muskoka, yes, we're known as the summer playground, but The beauty of winter cannot be beat here. We have fabulous snow. We have the lake effect working for us. So we've got light, fluffy snow everywhere. You see it on the tree branches, and everywhere you look, you've got a beautiful view and you've got a lake right beside it. And there's just something really special about that. Go snowshoeing, there's all kinds of trails, there's all kinds of little villages, things to discover. The plan for today is we're going to start at the top of Lake Muskoka. We're going to drop in at a boat builder. We have an incredible heritage of boat building here. We were North America's boat building capital. And then we're going to wander down through past some of our trails. You've got to check out the Port Carling Wall. There's a lot of history we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of snow. We've got bright sunshine. There's tons of snow out there. It's a perfect day for February 3rd in Muskoka.
Quick food tip, when you're in a restaurant that's open and busy, you don't want to be getting in the way of people with tripods and lights and stuff. So my tip is find a table by the window to shoot any food. The problem I've got here today is nice window table, but the sun is still very low and it's very bright. The sun behind clouds, that's what you really want, nice diffused light, but we've got harsh shadows, so we've got to work with it. One thing I like to do is use the napkins they give you and bounce light back, use it as a reflector. That always works.
We're at the Smithy, and this has been a family-owned business for 77 years. They like to say it ought to be rot.
Dock spikes are for cribbing. Wood cribbing holds all the stones together underneath the dock to support the dock. So these are what hold the wood cribbing together, you get hammered into the wood. So every year the contractors come and they order a lot of these, and we like to do them in the winter time so it keeps us a little bit warmer.
As we drove around, I managed to grab a few winter landscape images. Now this one's getting a bit arty. Blue skies are more favourable for travel and tourism marketing. Yeah, like this one. It's the people and their stories that make these places so interesting. Usually they're busy and you don't want to take up a lot of their time, so I try to shoot them with natural light, either outdoors or inside by a window. The lighting that I carry around with me is very minimal, very non-disruptive. Maybe I take one little LED light with a stand, which is what I did with the last place at the Smithies. Typically when I'm doing these types of shoots, there's very, very limited time. So you've got to be as quick and as efficient as you can. So natural light, yeah, natural light is your friend. We've come to a really unique and interesting business here. These guys restore antique boats up to 100 years old. They refurbish them, they build boats from scratch, and they even rent out antique boats. I mean, there are thousands of lakes around here. Boating is huge. When we arrived, the owner was just leaving because we're running a little bit behind schedule today. But I grabbed him for 3 minutes, took a quick portrait outside of this fantastic barn. He's left us to have a wander around. We're going to take a few photos, and I'm probably going to have to come back for this one to interview him and get some video of him.
standing at the home of the Muskoka Launch Livery. It's the only place in North America where you can rent an antique wooden boat. And this one, Heather, is the Grand Lady of the Fleet. She's a 1941 Duke Playmate. They built Duke Playmates in Port Carling from 1924 right through to 1968. And she was the 5th one built in 1941. So she's the oldest of the fleet, and you can rent her and wander around Muskoka. We're here at the very north end of Lake Muskoka. It's a large lake, and there's no better way to explore it than in one of these boats. It's a long established business, and as I said, it's one of a kind.
We rushed back to the brewery to set up a fire pit to shoot, and everyone really struggled with this one because it was approaching minus 30 degrees. We had an hour to shoot some snowshoeing and fat biking at Lake Russo in fairly flat light, so I had to make some quick decisions about where to position the models and juggle between shooting photos and video footage. These kind of images have plenty of uses, so I don't just shoot square format for social media. I shoot wide shots with plenty of negative space to use on websites and in print. Next, we had to set up at the J.W. Russo Muskoka Resort and Spa to shoot a traditional Canadian activity, making s'mores in their fire pit.